Today, we continue turning the clock back 150 years ago when fighting broke out in a small Pennsylvania town of Gettysburg. Now, as we told you yesterday, when the battle would reach its bloody conclusion, and this is after tens of thousands of American lives at the end of the day, death and destruction, the Confederacy, they would be in retreat, and the tide would have finally turned in favor of the Union. Now, all this week, during the 150th commemoration of the battle there, we are taking a special look at Gettysburg, the tremendous sacrifices that were made there. Adhering to history is important to Rich Mendoza and others who make up the New Jersey Regiment gathered during the commemoration for one of two blue and gray reenactments.
We do this to relive the historical nature of the battles, be part of that lifestyle. We'll camp out in the field, we'll do the maneuvers.
They honor and remember not only those from the Garden State, but all those who came to Gettysburg from neighboring states and beyond.
Well, New Jersey mainly fought on the second and third day, which would be off to the south of us and some over on Culp's Hill. But they had a lot of New Jersey troops that fought along with Dan Sickles out there on the advanced line on the Emmitsburg Road, and they took a terrible pounding as they're trying to hold on. What they do is they fire and fall back and fire and fall back and fire and fall back.
From this cupola atop the Lutheran Seminary School, a visitor gets a bird's-eye view of the battleground. First-hand accounts from diaries, notes, and messages preserved at the Seminary Museum show that by and large, day 2 of the battle was a draw, even though both sides suffered heavy losses. At the U.S. Army War College, about 30 miles from the Gettysburg battlefield, today's military leaders learn from battles past.
Who are those people? They're your neighbors, they're your brothers, they're your friends. You pass that guy every day on the street. When he enlisted, you might hear something about him as he writes home to his family or writes home to his friends. You identify with that person, you know who he is.
Those who sacrificed were not all men. Although we don't know their names, there is wide agreement among historians that many women participated directly in the battle, hair bobbed and dressed as men. Now, as you saw, most historians believe the second day of the battle was a draw. On day 3, the battle, well, Union soldiers, including those from New York and New Jersey, they repelled Confederate forces, ending the bloodiest battle ever on American soil. After the third and final day of battle on July 3rd, 1863, the town of Gettysburg, it had been changed forever. As the sun rose in the morning of July 4th, the scene, it remained one of almost unimaginable carnage as well as chaos. In addition to the thousands who lay dead, including those from New York and New Jersey, many more were mortally wounded and would die before the sun went down. A monument to the New Jersey Regiment marks the spot where some of its men died.
But see, Burling's brigade was all New Jersey men, for the most part, and they were getting parceled out to different parts of the field. So the southern attack started off in this direction as they're sweeping around towards the Devil's Den, the Little Round Top area, and they start getting closer and closer into here. So these men were rushed over in this area to help solidify this ground. But all of a sudden they're facing this way at these Georgia men, and all of a sudden more Georgians come in this way. So all of a sudden they're getting shot at from several directions. So they started to fall back in this direction, back across the wheat field. But this field here would change hands 6 times altogether. And he said by the time it was over, you could have walked all the way across it from end to end, from here to those trees, on the bodies.
While, as we have noted, historians still debate the exact cause of the war, most do agree that the blood shed over the 3 days of almost unimaginable death and destruction was a pivotal event in the Civil War. However, there is no debate that the war would ultimately bring an end to slavery, reunite a divided North and South, create a nation in which a black man or woman was no longer property, but a person. And it was a fight in which brother really did fight brother.
That's actually true, and there are several examples. The particular one from Gettysburg are the brothers Culp, C-U-L-P. Culp's Hill, the end of the federal line. One brother is in the north, the other has married and gone south. and wind up fighting each other at Gettysburg on the 2nd. No, I'm sorry to say that one of them was certainly killed there, and the other died a little bit later in the war.
It was also a fight for a cause in which Abraham Lincoln deeply believed. In a letter to a friend written in 1864, Lincoln said, quote, "I am naturally anti-slavery. If slavery is not wrong, nothing is wrong. I cannot remember when I did not so think and feel." Now, tomorrow night, as our nation celebrates freedom on the 4th of July, we invite you to join us at 6 o'clock for an RFL special tribute on hallowed ground, the commemoration of the 150th Battle of Gettysburg. We will take you to the scenes of some of the heaviest fighting. We'll meet some of the folks from our area who were in Gettysburg this week to reenact some of those famous battles within a battle like Pickett's Charge. And we will take you to the very spot that Abraham Lincoln delivered his immortal Gettysburg Address. That again is on hallowed ground, the commemoration of the 150th Battle of Gettysburg, Thursday night, 6 o'clock, right here on RFL. All right, everyone. When we come back, we take you to the here and now, or actually, we take you back to about a year and a half ago, a look inside an explosive new book that portrays a prima donna Chris Christie and an indecisive Mitt Romney. It's an inside look within the Romney campaign here. We're going to have some of the fascinating revelations right after this. So it is.